Okay, welcome to day 2 for online learning days. I hope, day 1 went well. I'm hoping that, all the lessons have made sense and that this'll go well today too. And if it didn't go well yesterday, maybe we can try again, because isn't that what life's all about? So, cool. This is where we ended last time, yesterday. Yesterday, yes. Here is where we're going to go today. So today, for science, we're still talking about spheres. We're talking about the different spheres on Earth, and we have the 4. I'm gonna give you a second to kind of think about the 4 for a second. Hopefully, you're thinking about the hydrosphere, the biosphere, the geosphere, and the atmosphere. Those are our 4 that we have. Remember, I know I'm not going to go in order here because there's not really an order, but biosphere is anything living. So I am biosphere. This pose, right, from yesterday, again, I'm cringing, don't worry. So we got biosphere, so anything living, plants, animals, humans, right? Geosphere is anything on the earth, so like rock, soil, dirt. Atmosphere is like the air around us and the different layers, okay? Hopefully you got that down on the assignment. And then hydrosphere is anything with water. So the water you drink, the water you swim in, things like that. Okay, so now I want to talk about some examples of how the spheres can interact with each other. Now, there can be multiple spheres interacting with each other all the time, but we're going to talk about how each sphere can interact with one other sphere. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm not going to talk about all of the spheres and how they interact with each other because I don't have enough time, but hopefully this is just a review and that we can talk about how different ones are going to interact with each other. So this first example is how the hydrosphere and the biosphere can interact with each other. Maybe you already have an idea in mind. That's great. That's fantastic. Hydrosphere, remember, is water. Biosphere is anything living. You might think, well, Mrs. K, like, my plants need water. Yeah, they do. You're right. That is a classic example of how the hydrosphere and the biosphere interact with each other. You need water. You are the biosphere. Water is the hydrosphere. You are interacting with, the biosphere is interacting with the hydrosphere. There is a video that I'm going to show. Not all of it, just some of it. I think it's kind of cool because it kind of takes you underwater and you can see different things underwater, but we can see how the biosphere and the hydrosphere interact with each other. So while you watch this video, I want you to think about the different biosphere and the different hydrosphere things that you can see interacting with each other. Okay. Whoops. That's not what I wanted yet. Okay, so through this video, I hope you were able to see how cool it was. First of all, pretty cool. How they were able to strap a GoPro to this turtle, and this turtle was able to swim around, just going about life. And you could see how the hydrosphere and the biosphere interacted with each other. One example is how, excuse me, one example is how the turtle was able to swim around in the ocean. Turtle is the biosphere, ocean is the hydrosphere. So that is an interaction that they had, right? You also saw different living things like fish, you saw coral, you saw different living things in the ocean, which is a hydrosphere, which is part of the hydrosphere. Something that I forgot to mention, and maybe you already noticed, but this is the Great Barrier Reef. This is like in Australia and super duper cool. And so it's cool that you kind of got to experience, yes, biosphere and hydrosphere, but you also saw one of the, I believe, one of the 7 wonders of the world. Maybe I should fact check that before I post this. Yeah, anyway, so pretty cool to see those two things interacting with each other. The next one I want to go over is hydrosphere and geosphere. So how water interacts with earth and how that can play a role in interacting between two of the spheres. So here is another video that I'll show. This is Kanara, I think is how you say it, Falls, and it's in Utah. So this is close to home. Maybe you've been here and you're going, Mrs. Kate, stop pronouncing things wrong. And I would argue, you're right. I should learn what I'm supposed to be doing. But Kanara Falls is located in Utah. This is really cool. You can see how the hydrosphere and the geosphere interact with each other. So I'll start this video.
Just arrived here in Canaraville, Utah. About to hike the Kanara Falls Trail.
Oh no, I meant to pause it. He's saying Canaraville. I think I said Canaraville. I hope it's Canaraville. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people say, oh no, I'm gonna think of it later. Anyway, people pronounce things wrong in Utah all the time. Anyways, I'll stop.
Canaraville, Utah. About to hike the Kanara Falls Trail. I'm at the trailhead right now, which has very nice facilities. Has restrooms, a pavilion area, and quite a bit of parking. You'll take this trail up to the gate.
I just thought of it. It's how people say Zion instead of Zion. So that's all.
Something right here that you'll turn into permits, and they do sell out just about every day, and they are sold out today.
Oh my gosh.
And to the left. Trail split in 2 different directions. You have a choice to go left or go right. Go left, stay to the left, follow the creek. There are trails that lead off in every which way. Look for the orange flags that have been put up by the staff here. That's going to be your best route. If you don't follow those, you're going to be going up and down and around and back. You get crazy, so just follow the orange flags. With the right shoes. If you have something that's fine for walking the river, like bikinis or mountaineering boots or stuff like that, just don't even take the trail. Take the creek. It's much faster, much easier, because if you take the trail all the way, you went up and down in rock scrambling the whole way, and it's not that fun. Brave the cold water, walk the creek, a lot easier. You get past the pain of the cold because that water's freezing. This is pretty cool. That water is freezing cold though. directions here.
All right, hopefully you got the gist of that. Let's see, I'm just making sure oh, this part was kind of cool. So you can see just in the video different examples of how the geosphere and the hydrosphere have interacted with each other. Now I know when you see this, you might think, oh, that was just there. That's always been there. Not exactly. Not exactly. Sorry, I feel so silly talking to a phone. I'm fine. So with the geosphere, one way that the geosphere interacts with the hydrosphere is a lot of water erosion. So when Kanara Falls, yikes guys, sorry. Yeah, when there are different falls in water, like waterfalls, rivers, streams, things like that, it tends to erode the earth a little bit, or the geosphere. And in this case, that's what happened here. So you can see how the water has shaped the canals of this really cool hike, or the Kanara Falls in Utah. So this is another one. I think I have one more example. Let's see, where are the slides? There we go. Okay, is it one more example? No, thank you. Thank you. Yep, okay, one more example. Hello. Of two spheres interacting with each other. So we got the atmosphere and the geosphere. So atmosphere, remember, is like what we breathe, right? The air around us and the different layers of it. And then the geosphere. So we're going to talk about how the earth and air essentially interact with one another. So the example here is this volcano that I am actually not going to try to pronounce, but you can read it right here. I'm not going to try. Iceland. This is a volcano in Iceland, and you can see how the geosphere and the atmosphere interact with each other. So I'll play a little bit of this video. know, very dramatic music. It's a very dramatic volcano. Actually, I remember watching this and just thinking like that's actually really mesmerizing, and it almost like the music almost got me like emotional. I'm like, wow. Okay. So this is an example of how the geosphere and the atmosphere, it's been a long day, guys, I'm so sorry, interact with each other. So some things that we can see, and I want you to think about it. How the heck would this be interacting with the atmosphere? It's coming from the ground. What do you mean, Mrs. K? This is a great example of how they interact with each other, because one thing that we see in the atmosphere during this video, we see lots of ash. We see a lot of ash in the atmosphere. We can see how things have burned and gone up into the air, and then how that might affect the air around it, right? I don't know about you guys, but I have been in situations where I have like been close to a fire, whether that's like a forest fire or a camping fire or things like that. And when ash goes in the air or when smoke goes in the air, it kind of hurts to breathe, which means the air is changing and it's harder for my lungs to find that oxygen. So when things are in the air, well, the geosphere is interacting with the atmosphere and therefore changing the air with ash or smoke or things like that. And you can tell that because it's difficult to breathe in those situations. Another thing that we can see is what is called fog, that is volcanic fog. And so it becomes a little blurry or a little gray and things like that. So that is also one way that it impacts the atmosphere. There are some other things that you might be able to think about. There might be other ways for you to think about how the geosphere interacts with the atmosphere, but this is a really good example. Okay, here is your assignment. No, silly me. Goodness gracious, take two. Okay, here is your assignment. So you should have a two-sided page assignment that looks like this. It kind of looks similar to the one yesterday, but this one, the instructions are a little different, talking about more interactions with the different spheres than examples in each sphere. So the instructions, please write down 3 examples of how each sphere listed can interact with one another. So I've already labeled them for you: hydro and bio, so hydrosphere and biosphere, hydrosphere and geosphere, and then on the back side is hydrosphere and atmosphere, biosphere, geosphere, biosphere and atmosphere, geosphere and atmosphere. So these are different spheres. Goodness me, there we go. These are different spheres where I want you to write 3 examples about how each sphere can interact with one another. For example, you 100% can use one of your examples of the videos that I showed you. Did that make sense? We watched a turtle. Hopefully you remember the turtle. That was a classic example. I don't know what I'm saying. That is an example of how the biosphere turtle swim in the ocean, the hydrosphere. You can write that. You can say right here, turtle swimming in the ocean. That is one example that you could use. And then you can find 2 more examples on your own. Hydrosphere and geosphere, we watched a video on that as well, the one I can't pronounce, and you're probably like, Mrs. K, get it together. You're right, I should. And then we've got hydrosphere and atmosphere. Okay, that was not a video that we saw, but I'm sure you can think of one. Biosphere and geosphere, again, we haven't watched all the videos. I gave you 3 examples to help you out. Biosphere and atmosphere and geosphere and atmosphere. You can just find 3 different examples that you can think of, or if you need help, again, you can email me, kind of just I can validate your thoughts or things like that if you need to help you with this assignment. So please don't be a stranger. I can help. Hopefully those videos kind of helped you understand how interactions may work, and then you can fill out this assignment. Remember that you need 3 in each box, in each of the hydrospheres, oh my goodness, Earth spheres interacting with each other. If you have any questions, make sure to email me, or I will be on Zoom for that hour. And yeah, hopefully you guys got this. Hopefully you guys got this. I just know you guys got this, and I'm here to help. So don't hesitate.